Hey, welcome to Everyday Reviews and welcome to the beautiful Napa Valley. Recently, we had a chance to take a look at the brand new 2025 Infiniti QX80. That was the New York Auto Show, but that was just a first look. Today, we have it back, and not only are we going to touch it, feel it, experience it, drive it, but we're also going to listen to it. Yes, I said listen because this new luxury three-row SUV has some pretty cool audio tricks up its sleeve. There's 60. All right, the exterior, you got to kind of really love it, especially when you compare it to the previous generation. You still have that double arch grille, but man, is it ever different. They have actually designed this kind of to emulate kind of flowing bamboo, and I can really see it has a three-dimensional effect on here. It's gloss black. You have different lighting in the front. In the back, it consists of 300 different lights across that beautiful light bar. Now, here's one thing. This is the autograph trim, comes with 22-inch wheels, but all of the QX80s come with 22-inch wheels. This one just gets special ones of that. Lengthwise, it's the same size as the outgoing trim. Wheelbase a little bit bigger. Okay, coming around the side for the first time, you'll see Infiniti has used the flush door handles. They retract in and out, of course. You have the proximity sensor. Nice running boards. Now, this is a tall vehicle. It's a big full-size vehicle. However, with the air suspension, it can lower very easily to get in and out, which is very handy. We're gonna talk about that a little bit more when we get inside. Coming around to the back here, I love how they have just really blended not only the colors, but the materials together. You have this brushed metal trim here, lots of little details. You see the Infiniti badge here, the roof spoiler, the integrated wiper up in the top there, and once again, there's that big 300 light display. Another detail, you see the QX80 here, the 4WD, that is basically a nod to a Japanese stamp, and you'll see that on the inside as well. Standard hands-free power liftgate, open up the top, the lid here. Big opening for loading things in and out. Once again, with that air suspension, we can lower this nice and low to load things or take things out. We also have remotes for third and second row seats. We're gonna talk about that when we get inside, but lots of room. You got storage room here. We have a spare tire underneath. Let's take it for a drive. All right, so the exterior is different. Now we're inside the vehicle. Before we talk about all the luxury premium items that you get and all the new additions on this three-row SUV, let's talk about the drive and the platform here. First of all, let's introduce our friend Dan with the jean jacket in 100-degree weather.
Hey man,
what is up with that?
I'm built to live in a jean jacket, pal.
Okay, this is built off of a new platform. The wheelbase, they say, it's a little bit bigger. The length is the same. If you want to compare it to the competitors like the Cadillac Escalade or the Lincoln Navigator, this is
standard length.
Yeah, the standard length, not the extended versions. This is an inch longer than the Navigator, and it's an inch shorter than the Escalade, just to give you an idea. Well, this new platform, of course, they use different processes in the frame now. So you get 57% more lateral stiffness on here and 25% torsional rigidity. And what that does, it allows the suspension to work so well. So this does come standard with air suspension as well as adaptive suspension. So it's sampling the road 100 times a second, it's adjusting, and with that air suspension, you can raise it up for off-road use, and you can lower it down for loading things in, like we mentioned when we open up that back, or getting in and out for easy ingress egress. So it's really handy, especially if you're carrying a lot of people, maybe young kids, elderly people. It's very handy for that. So with that suspension working so well, you have a lot of acoustic tricks that they use in here in glass. It's very quiet in here, and one other thing that makes this quiet is the new power plant. This is using the twin turbo V6 instead of the 5.6 liter V8. And so, believe it or not, going to this twin turbo V6 actually gets you more power. This is 450 horsepower, which is 50 horsepower more than the V8, and you get 515 pound-feet of torque, which is a whopping 103 pound-feet more of torque than that outgoing V8. You put it all together, match it to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and you get overall a 10% more increase in fuel economy. Not increase, but you get better by 10% for fuel economy, if you know what I mean.
It's always hard to say that, isn't it?
I know.
You can never say it right.
I know.
It's more fuel economical. Let's just put it together.
Yeah, but it's more, but it's less, right?
Yeah.
Towing remains the same, 8,500 pounds. If you are towing with this, a couple little tricks they've added. You do have a camera, so you can see your tow hitch. Easy to actually line your trailer up as well. You can also use the air suspension will level itself out. So you may want to tow a boat, for instance, a big boat. This will handle that, or a travel trailer. And depending on how many people you have, you can actually put more things in here because you have larger cargo capacity now. So behind the second row, you get 17% more storage, and even behind the third row, you can see a large suitcase in some of these images here. In all of our gear, here you get 28% more. If you fold them all down, you get 6% more. In the cabin though, also, you actually benefit from more leg room for all passengers, and that third row is actually very, very usable. In the second row of the new QX80, for the autograph, you get captain seats on here. You know what? They really didn't skimp on anything for this autograph. So we get heated, ventilated seats, and even available massaging seats for the rear. You have this large panel roof. You have your own air vent, individual climate control, lots of storage room, plus you have a 9-inch screen here where we can control our climate functions, our seat functions. These are power seats, by the way, so slide back and forth, recline, extremely comfortable. And now, this does not have the cool box like the front. It's essentially the same size, but doesn't have the cool function. You have your drink holders and USBs, 2 up front here, 2 in the center, and an almost flat floor, which is a big bonus just for putting things there. If you need to shuffle over, really, really easy. And the sound, we have speakers above us. We have speakers, multiple speakers on the door. And just because you're in the back doesn't mean that they skimped on the details. You have this embedded ambient lighting, that open pore wood with that metal inlay. It really is very nice. Now let's check out the third row. Okay, so one touch here. All right, so we're just going to push that button, the toggle there. We're in the third row. Seat is coming down. I have this far to the seat back. I'm 5'11". My head is not touching, but I can actually recline further with this button here. We have power seats, heated seats in the rear, nice window, air vents back here, room for 3, and a flat floor. This is literally a real usable third row. When you are ready to get out, hit that button, tilts, and then slides forward, giving you wide opening to get out. It's a class leading basically the opening size to get into the third row, which is quite important if you're actually using it quite a bit. So if you go into the autograph package that we have here, the top of the line, that comes standard with captain seats for the second row. And if you go for the other packages below, you're going to get a bench. So you're going to sacrifice one seat with the autograph, but all QX80s come standard with a power folding third row. And also, even if you have a bench, you can remotely fold that second row. But with the autograph, the captain seats, you can fold all seats remotely up and down. And best thing, you can actually do it within the actual infotainment system, so you don't even have to actually get out of your vehicle. You have someone coming in. If they open up the door, I can fold that second row, and actually it can tilt for them to get into the third row. And if you are using this with car seats, hey, you got some little ones there. You can actually still have the car seat in the second row. It will tilt, and you don't have to remove it at all. That's pretty good. You got little ones?
Two
and
I love that feature, believe me. Makes things so much easier.
And now we get to some of the goodies inside. You know, like, wow. Semi-aniline leather seats in here, and how they even have the quilting is kind of with these perforations. As they say, in a private jet, there is no business class or premium economy and economy class.
It's all business class.
It's all business class. So what they're trying to give the buyers of the QX80 and all the passengers the same experience, whether you're in the first, second, or third row. I don't think that's completely true, because the third row, you're not, I'd rather be in the second or first row for sure. We have heating, we have cooling, we have massaging seats for the first row, as well massaging seats for the first time in the second row on the autograph trim here. We have heated seats in the rear as well, and you know, the massaging is okay. I really wish they would extend the massage to the seat bottoms though. You know, my butt gets kind of a little bit numb, right? I want a butt massage, right? But you know, it still has it. We have dual 14-inch screens now. We get wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is wireless as well. You get Google, and you can just ask Google, do whatever you want.
Unlike some other manufacturers out there, you still get CarPlay and Android Auto, even though they're using Google.
Yes, and speaking of Google, their Navi system uses Google Maps as the default. If you're using Waze or Apple Maps, you can still project that on there. Also, you do have a head-up display. All right, and then we get to cameras. This thing has so many cameras, more cameras than B&H Photo.
Ooh!
Oh,
B&H Photo,
there's a little name drop there. If you're a photographer,
if you're ever in New York City,
you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyways, there's so many cameras. We mentioned there's the 360 cameras. They also have this see-through hood camera. There's this wide view now, and we did a demo where they're demonstrating if you have something blocking, like say a vehicle blocking you on one side or the other, and you can see beyond that. And in this instance,
they had a bike.
A bike, yes.
That you could, from where I was sitting and from where Brian was sitting, we could not see that bike, but the camera saw the bike.
Yep, and then very also, cool. That's a segment first, you have this ultra wide screen view. You can put the entire 14-inch, 28 inches of the video on these screens, as well as you can do this see-through, where it has a camera pointing down. It's kind of superimposing what you're driving over, so you can line
like what
up.
Land Rover does.
Yeah, it's common, getting more and more common.
It's getting more and more common.
And I like it. I do like it. So it's handy not just for off-road, but it's handy for if you want to precisely place your tires somewhere, whether maybe you're at a car wash and you have to get your tire right in there, or you're in a tight spot, you don't want to
McDonald's drive.
curb your rim. You can use it for that. Yeah, so very, very useful. On the inside, you got cameras. We have a digital rear view mirror. We have an interior in-cabin camera, which is right here. You can actually take pictures for social media.
Which is cool, but what it doesn't really do is you can sort of see the back seat with it, but not that well, because you've got to look through the two people sitting up front. For me, with the kids, I'd like to be able to see my kids with my camera. They don't really have a second row camera like some of the other manufacturers do. I wish they did. I think they missed a bit of an opportunity there.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have that at all. But right below, or right by the sunroof there is, it looks like a camera, but it's actually a sensor. It's a heat sensor. So this has a biometric system where, for the second row only, kind of second and third row. So if you enter the vehicle, you're gonna sit in the second row. It actually does this, it's got a thermocoupler, I'm guessing, and just analyzes, oh wow, this person's really hot. It's going to direct the air to help cool you down, and they say it can cool you down 50% faster than without it.
And we're in some pretty hot temperatures here.
Yep.
Pretty cool to have that feature.
So it's pretty cool. Also on this autograph, if you're, speaking of the second row, you also do get your own little control screen. This QX80 is the first vehicle from Infiniti to be equipped with ProPilot Assist 2.0. one. All right, so that gives you semi-autonomous features. You have to be on a mapped highway. Think of like kind of like a Super Cruise, you know, that the competitor Escalade has, where
Closer to blue.
you know you can actually go hands-free. I'm just going to. We are not on a freeway right now, so it's not going to work. But yes, it will actually go, and you can do complete hands-free on mapped highways. Yeah, so I think that's a nice welcome, especially for real long, monotonous, straight drives, maybe down the I-5 all the way down to California or something like that.
Or along the 401 in Ontario.
401 in Ontario, good for traffic as well. Yeah, that's a nice added feature, and hopefully we'll see that in more Infinitis to come. All right, 0 to 60, here we go.
It's quick.
There's 63 right there.
It's quick.
That's really, really quick.
Yeah.
And at speed, since we're doing 64 miles per hour right now, even at speed, for passing power, that's to 80 miles an hour right there. Definitely adequate for a large 3-row SUV. One thing, in my opinion, what really stands out for a luxury vehicle is the way not only that it sounds, but you know how it isolates the occupants in here. We're well isolated, but the sound system. All right, this has a new Klipsch audio system. It's standard across the board, whether you go with the bass trim, but on the bass one you get a 12-speaker, 600-watt system. You go into the sensory or the autograph here, you go 1,200 watts, 24 speakers, and I gotta tell you, it is, if you want to compare audio systems, this is one of the best in class. Absolutely, it is so clear,
So good.
like you can crank up the music or whatever you're listening to.
Even streaming.
You can stream,
even lo-fi streaming, like even that.
and you know there's very low distortion because it's so loud, but you can actually still hear each other talking. It's fabulous, and there's a new feature that they've actually introduced in this Klipsch system, and it's called individual audio. And I compare it similar to my Ray-Ban Metas, which people love trying on because when I'm wearing them, I can play music.
Slide that plug in there for the Ray-Ban Metas.
I don't even have any association with them, right? But I love them. So when I'm wearing them, I can be listening to music, talking on the phone, and other people around me can't even hear it. That's what individual audio is. So you see these speakers in the
Because
headrest
typically,
here.
you're listening to music, phone call comes, music gets cut off for everyone else in the cabin, so you can take your phone call.
Yeah, so say someone's calling me, and I'd be like, hey Jim, how's it going? Yeah, Dan's with me. That's okay, he can't hear me. Say whatever you want about Dan. Yeah,
Hey, Jim,
oh yeah,
hey.
that's funny. Okay, see, so Dan has no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, I know what Jim's saying about you. I know what he's
at all. But it is that good. Another thing that it's very, very handy for instance, let's say you're on a family road trip and everyone's sleeping. You've been on the road for a few hours. People are sleeping, and you want to listen to music, but you don't want to bother anyone, or you want to hear the turn-by-turn directions, and they're only going to be directed just to you. Like, it's amazing. It really, really is amazing. And as time goes on, they're going to roll out.
Turn right onto Madison Street.
Okay, did you hear that? Well, everyone heard that. If I had individual audio on, basically only I would hear that. So, yeah, I think it's great. I think this is great. This is a really fantastic
really
system.
good, really good.
It really is. It's stunning.
Yeah.
Okay, how fitting we actually have a Cadillac Escalade in front of us, which is one of the direct competitors to this, as we mentioned.
Previous gen.
The previous gen, as well as the Lincoln Navigator. And I haven't driven an Escalade for a couple of years, but I think it's a great vehicle. I just drove the Lincoln Navigator a couple of weeks ago.
For a long time, you had quite a drive.
Yeah, I drove it down, the I-5, 500 kilometers. So I'm very familiar with that vehicle. And if I want to compare those vehicles to this one, I gotta say, you know what? It's like Infiniti says they're on a product renaissance. And I think they really needed to be, because there hasn't been, anything really that fresh from
What's the last
brand.
exciting Infiniti you can even think of?
Well, maybe the new
Q60 red
Well,
Sport?
that was exciting.
That was a cool car.
But I really have always enjoyed Infiniti's style.
Yeah.
Okay. And what they've done here is
Their productions so often look like their concepts, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah. This is exactly
this is an example of that.
exactly the
This is
same
an example of that,
as a concept.
Yeah.
The exterior is so much better looking than the outgoing model for sure. Lots of different design elements, mimicking, bamboo like we talked about for the front grille. On the inside, so much attention to detail, like so much. You really have to spend quite a bit of time here to notice a lot and look around. It's not just the leather surfaces that are just beautiful, they're meticulous, but the open pore wood with the metal inlays that they have throughout here, it's very, very well done. We have the Alcantara roof here. All the touch points feel great. It does not have heated surfaces though, which some vehicles do, but those
Still
are
pretty rare in this business.
yeah,
Still pretty rare,
because this class can go way up. We got Range Rovers.
Exactly.
We have, Audis. They did their homework. They really did it right. If you need a 3-row full-size SUV on body on frame, because once again, if you want to tow with it, and you want luxury, you're gonna have to seriously have a serious look at this QX80.
And by the way, that tow figures for all trims too.
All trims.
All trims.
All trims.
Great.
And another thing that I didn't mention, even when we're talking about the exterior, all trims, this is the beauty of it, all trims look the same.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you
22-inch wheel standard.
if you go for the base or all the way to autograph, it looks the same. You get the same light treatment, the welcoming, light treatment. Everything is the same. So
and it looks good enough that if you were to buy the autograph, you wouldn't kind of be feeling put out. Oh, it doesn't look different enough from the lower end ones. They all look good, so you're happy either way.
I think buyers of this vehicle are going to make a statement. I'm successful.
Taste.
I've got good taste, and I like style. I like style. I don't want just a box.
And I'm trying something different.
Yes.
I'm not trying the same, like the Navigator sells a lot, the Escalade. The Escalade sells a ton, huge selling vehicles. This is a little more niche than that, or niche, or however you want to say it, and I think that's kind of neat too.
Absolutely. Anyways, let's wrap it up. All right, before we give you our final thoughts on this new QX80, what's it gonna cost you to get into it? Well, it starts at the Luxe trim, that's the base trim. And remember, they are all-wheel drive in Canada. That's going to run you just under $105,000. If you go into the Sensory trim, you get that upgraded stereo along with some other goodies. That's gonna be $114,000. These are Canadian dollars, by the way. And the top of the line autograph trim that we have here, $124,995. Yes, it is not inexpensive, but if you compare this with the competitors, it's actually quite a bit of value. You're getting a lot of capability, the towing, the room, and the new style, and of course that Klipsch audio system. It is absolutely fantastic. So if you're in the market for a full-size luxury SUV, you really have to check this one out. And my final thoughts, I think Infiniti, I'm gonna give you 2 thumbs up. You have done a great job.